Welcome to Node Mode. I am Depeche Node, joined today by the GOAT, Chris Bennett, and this is the NFT podcast on digital art. We talk with artists, OG collectors, and the smartest people in the space about all things NFTs. As usual, nothing in this video is financial advice. We're not financial advisors, and the NFT space is risky. So always do your own research. And don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and share so we can keep doing Node Mode and spreading the gospel of digital art. Also, we are this show is sponsored by SuperRare. Shout out to SuperRare, doing awesome things. Chris Bennett, what is going on, man? How you doing?
Good, man. I'm doing great. For a bear market, there sure has been a lot of exciting stuff as of late.
Yeah, it's like no matter what happens, there's never enough ETH to go around, right? Like it's just I hate being poor. That's all there is to it, man. This is the this is the worst.
But for those that don't know, I do think you made a good move in locking up that ETH and making yourself poor.
Yes.
It is smart. It is smart.
Yeah. That also happened to be a viral tweet. So, you know, I at least got funny. A viral tweet out of that. Got like 2,000 likes.
Was everybody pretty much positive, or were people thinking you were dumb?
Anybody? Almost everybody was positive, actually. So mostly good feedback. Some people were like, well, you're never opening that ledger up again, because I said I wasn't going to open it until it hit 15K. You know, when ETH was 15K.
So fudding ETH.
Yeah. Just some funny people saying like fudding it. And then you had other people that were overly optimistic. They're like, hey, you're going to break that out like end of next year. I'm like, okay, cool. Like I doubt it, but I'd be stoked if that was the case. So.
Yeah, no, I thought it was smart. I was telling you before the show, watching the Dimitri auction, that every time I stack ETH to go buy a punk, some shiny object comes my way and takes my ETH away.
Man. It's absolutely terrible. I think we should start off with the Dimitri auction. You want to give us some background and some context? We've been chatting about this all morning, but let's hear it from you. Tell people what this is, and I'll go ahead and share my screen here in a sec.
Yeah, share your screen. This is his latest drop. Only 100 pieces he reserved. I want to say, I don't know, 7 or something like that. What's interesting is on the auction site, you should pull that up. If you go to the gallery, so it minted out at 22, that was the bottom. I tried, I even upped my gas and I failed. I actually had the plan to buy 2 at 25. That was my plan, to sell 1 and take the pressure off. You know, I'm pretty good at that usually. But then, you know, that whole greedy confirmation bias thing, when no one was buying at 25, I got greedy and thought I would be getting them at 20. They're gorgeous, first of all. They're absolutely stunning. I love black and white stuff.
They are, dude. Like, I just wanted to say, like, dude, this is like, I mean, in my view, these just feel like fine art. Like, they look so good, and they're absolutely gorgeous, beautiful. I'm in love with them. I have been ever since he released his initial kind of teasers. But yeah, sorry, go ahead. There's 100 of them, right?
No. 100 of them. He reserved like 7 or maybe like 13 or something. I think, it was 87 that were available for auction. So actually a little more, 23. And it was interesting right there. Is that the one? Yeah, reserved for institution installment. Yeah. That's pretty cool. And this is something that I've been talking a lot for a long time on Node Mode, is that I think institutions and traditional collectors are going to come through the more fine art type stuff to start. Doesn't mean they're not going to go full, you know, get into crypto art and other stuff too, but the more fine art looking stuff, I think, is what's going to catch their eye. I think generative art is going to be a very, very big part of that for sure. So that was cool that even before the auction, he already has one reserved for an institutional display. I like them. I'm going to be watching all day, and I'll probably buy, just because even if like price wise it doesn't move, I mean, I freaking love these. What else is cool about them is they come with a authentic physical that's like a stamped metal, or something like that. It's like, I can't remember the name of the metal, but it's not going to be like a print. It's like stamped.
Yeah, there's like, I watched the whole
look at that bottom right one. Look at that bottom right one.
Cool right here. Yeah, it's like the one of the few that's mostly, you know, black on the background.
Yeah, that's really cool.
These look so amazing. I mean, I watched. If anyone hasn't checked it out, like, check out the document. Like, he filmed there's a little documentary almost about it that explains the whole project. It is awesome. And then, you know, a lot of this, I can't even remember exactly how they're created, but it's like he's using like actual like, you know, film negatives and like all sorts of craziness to develop these things. So they look fantastic. The process by which he actually like created them and came out with them is like really cool. So check out, you can check out like the detail. I think it's under project details here. And you can learn all about it. But yeah, he took a lot of inspiration. He went and like toured all this stuff from, I'm already forgetting the artist's name, but there's an artist that
he toured all his works.
Yeah, very influential in all of this. He toured all his work. Like this is in partnership, I think, with that estate. And man, it's just been crazy. So the auction, yeah, check out these auction numbers. It like the first 9, I think, got some special thing or whatever, and then so that's why some of those bought the top. They were willing to buy the top, but then after that, like, dude, they all went right at 22, and
it went fast.
Yeah, okay, so it looks like there's just like what 4 or 5 here that are reserved
now.
But like I think 22 is an absolute steal, and maybe I'm crazy, but like if you compare these to Ringers, for example, like, I mean, Ringers is 1,000 supply. It's his OG kind of breakout project. And the floor on those are usually around 65 ETH or something.
I was looking today; it is 60s right now.
Yeah, it's always in the 60s. I like to call it the golden ratio. It's one ringer. When one ringer equals one punk, like the market is in equilibrium, and it's like
right
always,
right
it's always right there. Yeah, it finds its way back to that equilibrium point, dude.
That's interesting,
dude. It is. It totally is. But like, man, if you look at that, and then you look at these, and I think they're just phenomenal. So I don't see a reason why these shouldn't be worth what a ringer is worth. To be quite honest, there's only 100 of them. Maybe I'm crazy.
Well, with supply, I feel like, yeah, I mean, at least, right? At least.
Yeah. So, I mean, congrats to everyone that bought at 22. I think that's,
yeah.
I think some people were home run.
We're flipping quick 10, 12 ETH flips. But for me personally, like from an art standpoint, I mean, I love ringers, but I like these better. I like these aesthetically better.
These are definitely very interesting. I think ringers, it's hard to beat them as a set. I think they look fantastic as a set, but they're also very simple, right? And these have a little bit more complexity to them. Obviously, they're just a little bit more interesting for a lot of people to look at. But like, dude, yeah, if I come over, I mean, the floor price is already at 30. Let's see 30. How many people
it went up to like 34-ish. Already 406 ETH in volume in about, I want to say, like 20 minutes. Didn't it end like 20 minutes? It ended like 10 minutes before the show.
Yeah. And that, you know, I was not even paying attention at the end. I just didn't think it would even come close to this price. So, same. I mean, yeah, people they've already made 10 ETH in 20 minutes. So congratulations to all the people that had enough money to make this happen. Dang, dude. Oh,
congratulations to Dimitri.
Yeah. And congrats to Dimitri. Definitely one of my favorite artists. I mean, he's, you know, that's my one grail piece is the ringer. So this is awesome. And somebody told me,
you rode that all the way up and all the way back down and all the way up again.
That's right, dude. Yeah. I wrote it. Dude.
Didn't you buy it at like 5 ETH?
Yeah. It was worth, I mean, I think in USD terms, I bought it for like $8,000. Okay. And then I watched, you know, at its peak, those things were worth $500,000. I mean, I'm like,
ETH was high and they were high.
In retrospect, I'm like, I'm a total idiot. Like that was so much money, you know. That was more than my entire portfolio is now. So, you know, lessons learned. Somebody said in one of the Discords I'm in, they're like, is this the worst placeholder ever for the art? And I'm like, I don't know. You may consider that, you know. I like the simplicity, but
that's funny.
It does, you know. Right here, you don't really get a sense for what it is so well.
No, that is weird. But and this is in the banner.
The art, it's in the banner, but it also you also don't really get it in the banner either. I feel like you're missing a lot of the coolness of it.
He just wants you to go down to the collection and view the collection. I mean, it hasn't revealed yet in the metadata, but
yeah.
I thought the auction site was really slick too. I loved the black and white simplicity. Like Dimitri's just full circle, right? Like he does everything perfect from start to finish, very thought out, very methodical. I loved the auction site. I really liked that a lot.
the whole thing, this whole
So
thing
easy.
has been, the entire thing has been one cohesive, like very
Yeah.
well branded. And like you look at the documentary, you look at the site,
Mm-hmm.
the guy knows what he's doing. He is destined for, the museums. I absolutely love it. Somebody in the chat just asked, can you view this on Archipelago? I don't know yet. We should check and see. But I mean, Archipelago, I doubt it
It's
because
shutting
they're
down.
shutting down on December 10th,
Yeah, I
which is a
doubt they're
shame.
updating
So they're probably
anything.
not doing a whole lot there.
Mm-mm.
But man, okay. Any last words on Dimitri before we move on?
No, just incredible drop. I'll be watching it for sure. Probably going to pick one up. I really like them a lot. I don't have a ringer, and since these are cheaper than ringers right now, I think for me this is more attractive.
Kind of seems like a no-brainer, actually.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and just look at my search history because it usually is what I want to talk about. And there you go.
Here we go. Here we go.
Let's talk about our guy Zancan. Tell me about this drop.
I love Zancan. I think I shared it before, but he's one of my biggest misses in Web3 in that he followed me on Twitter like when his Tez stuff was pennies and I didn't even catch it. I didn't even follow him back. I didn't even know of him, or I did and I missed it or something. But he was following me because I was actually collecting a lot on Tez. Totally missed it. So I definitely missed out on. I mean, his Genesis now on Tez like 26 grand or something like that floor price.
Really? Dang.
Yeah. But there's a couple things really cool about this. One, let's talk generative open editions is the way. I typically like open editions for the artist's sake. Like I get it. I get why an artist would do it. It's a way to increase your collector base, especially if you like have a Discord and you're really trying to build a community around your art. I get it. And from a collector standpoint, I would tell most people out there, if you're going to buy an edition, just buy the one at the mint price. They're usually really cheap, and just so you have it and enjoy the art. It's not something traditionally you're going to like make money on. However, unless like a burn mechanic comes out later, like what Xcopy's done before for Afterburn and things like that. But
yeah,
adding a generative spin to an open edition to me was just genius and kind of a no-brainer. In hindsight, what's cool is I was looking through Verse, the company he dropped it with, their Twitter, I think yesterday, the day before, they tweeted a paragraph in Discord with Zancan in them, and it kind of happened by accident from what I can gather. I was meaning to talk to Zancan about it in DMs, but he's been at Basel and busy, but it looked like he was trying to recreate the teaser image that they were putting up on there again or something like that. And he was like, hey, I can't really twist the knobs to get there again. What if we do that? What if we do this as an open edition and kind of see where it goes and see what comes out? So to me, it's kind of cool. It's almost like it was a happy accident. I think we're going to see a lot more of these because I think it's brilliant. Even though the majority are very similar. I minted 6 and they're all green, but I love them. Yeah. I do love them. But the pinks and the blacks are really cool. Anyways, it adds some scarcity. It adds some trading and secondary. One thing usually traditionally with open editions, again, aside from like Xcopy, who has a background in burning his open editions, with most other artists, there really isn't a lot of secondary. Besides those who just miss it the first day, maybe, and want exposure to that artist. But this is gonna play out. This is cool. This is really cool.
Yeah. So, I mean, just for more context, right? So open editions in general, like I did a whole tweet thread on them. You can check it out, but it's like, I'm not a huge fan of just a traditional open edition, but what's so cool about this is it's actually innovative, right? Like every piece is unique. It's one of X, right? So they're all unique, all part of the set. And so a generative open edition is kind of fascinating. I will always stand, a lot of people came after me in my comments on Twitter and said like, oh, like there are good ways where people have gone about it. And I agree with that. My only problem with open editions that I will always stand by is that it is literally impossible to actually value what the price of the mint should be because you don't know the supply. So you're asking a lot of the early minters. You're asking them a lot to just take a leap of faith and mint it and say like, I'm going to pay this amount, and a million more people might mint this after me, right? Which causes some challenges. So that's my one big issue with open editions, but I love when they're done right. In fact, Dimitri, who we were just chatting about, did it extremely well with Dead Ringers, because all the money went to charity, number one. So you knew exactly what you were doing. Yeah, it was 0.02 mint. That's nothing. And so if it's really cheap, it all goes to charity. And he introduced scarcity by introducing, you could buy a physical that's signed by him. So I did that. It's hanging in my living room as like my centerpiece piece, and so I absolutely love that. But coming back to Zancan here, what makes this one cool is that you actually have there is some rarity components. So someone asked in the comments, can you deep dive into what an open edition is? An open edition is just straight up, an artist says, hey, anybody can mint this for a specific period of time. And so you might, an edition is just kind of like a print, right? A physical print, but digital. So, an open edition is literally as many people as want to mint get to mint. So it might end up in that time frame. Exactly. Whatever the time frame is. So in one aspect, this can work out really well if you find an early artist that nobody knows about and they do an open edition that's cheap.
Totally.
And then there's only like 100 that mint out. And then it turns out it was X copy, and then, so like 3 years later, you've all of a sudden made oodles of money. That's great. The challenge is, once an artist is really well known, these open editions, there's like, 10,000 plus very regularly, or, 7,000, 8,000, whatever. Lots of editions end up pumping out. So it makes it hard to know what happens. In general, what's going to happen is you're going to lose money if you mint an open edition that's just a regular open edition. I think in general, that's like the safe bet. But in this case, what makes this drop interesting is because it's a generative one, there's kind of 3 tiers of rarity, right? You've got the greens, which are the common ones that we showed earlier. And then you've got these black ones, and then the pink ones. And the black one and the pink ones, they're much more rare. So I think statistically, you've got like an 8% chance of getting a black or pink, one or the other combined in the rarity. And so like, if you mint 12 or 13 of these things, statistically, you should normally mint 1 black or pink out of that, right? But, people love to play the lottery. Some people get lucky, some people don't. You could easily mint 20 of them and get all greens.
I did 6 and I got all green.
Yeah, I mean,
I should have just bought a black on secondary.
Yeah, that's the hard thing, right? So the blacks are going for 0.5, the pinks are going for 0.8, and the greens right now, I think they're 0.039 is what it was showing. So yeah, 0.038. So you've got a 90% chance if you mint 1, you've got a 90% chance. I think the mint price is 0.08 or 0.09. Yeah. So you've got a 90% chance that you're instantly going to lose 0.06 ETH, like 60% right off the bat. Or, you've got a 10% chance of doing like a 5-6x, right off the bat. So it's actually kind of a fun mechanic. And so I like it. I
like it a lot.
Yeah. I may come in and just snag a green off secondary because they're cheap, or just buy a black one or a pink one. Like, I think these look fantastic. So.
Yeah. I'm thinking about grabbing a black just because I love them. And when he does, I think it ends today, doesn't it? The open edition in today.
Yeah, I actually need to look into that. Yeah, that's a good question.
They could run up, but I mean, I'm not really in it. I just like the blacks. Here's how I would look at open editions. If you absolutely love the artist, like you and I with Dimitri, with Dead Ringers, I love Zancan's work. And many others. I did Louis Ponce's open edition, even though I have his one of ones and I have other stuff. If you like the artist and you want more, you just want it for the art and you want to support that artist, totally do it. But don't have any other expectations outside of that, generally speaking. I do think, though, we'll probably start to see generative artists kind of copy Zancan and do some generative open edition drops. And there could be some good plays there as far as like from an investment standpoint. Or I would say maybe a artist that you've known to have a little more gamification in their stuff, like X copy, and you think there might be a burn later, then you might want to pick up, 2 or 4 so that you can choose to burn and redeem for something. But that's how I would generally look at open editions as, hey, you just want to support the artist, put some ETH in their wallet and have a piece from them.
Yeah, I was, as you can see in the search history, I was looking up all the open editions. The one thing I think, what was it? Color Study, right? The Great Color Study. This is a
Oh
good
yeah.
example of an open edition that turned out to be really successful for
Hmm.
people, because he burned it and he did something else that was different.
Yep.
And like that, the hard thing is it then makes the initial piece of art, whatever that you bought, it's not really about that, right? So it's kind of like a
Yep.
weird dynamic, which I'm like, okay, if you know, I just feel like artists need to let people know kind of what they're getting themselves into, maybe. And ACK is kind of an exception because like that's his shtick of like
Yeah.
it's all
Like,
performance
yeah.
art, so you never know, and that's you
Yeah.
kind of knew that going in,
Yes.
which is great. So I think this fits him perfectly,
Hmm.
and I really like these, dude. These ran up
Well,
hard.
what was cool about that too is you got to pick the color you minted. So it was kind of
Oh,
became
you
a
did?
pass.
I didn't even know
Yeah.
that.
So I had two, and for people who don't know, when you minted his open edition, it was a different image, and then it turned into Max Payne, and
Yeah,
it was called Max Payne V2.
and it looked
And then
exactly like Max
no,
Payne,
it
right?
was because
Yeah,
it's
it
because
was.
it's CCO.
Yeah,
And so
yeah.
he just did Max Payne and he called it V2. And I was like, okay, I've followed ACK for a long time. I was like, for sure this is going to turn into something. So I bought another one. I had just minted one open edition and then I bought another one. And then what was cool is it was kind of like a Grails mechanic. You came to his site, you connected your wallet, and then you could burn for the exact color you wanted.
Nice. And it looks
Yeah.
like, and there's different because everybody got to choose, right? Like there's some that
Different
are more
edition
scarce
sizes.
than others, right? And so
Yep.
these are essentially, they're all now just editions, right? Each color is its own
Yeah.
edition. Electric gray is probably the one with the least supply. Looks like it's 238. Um,
Yep.
Pretty cool.
And
That's
people
probably
are
why it's
trying to
trading at
get
a
complete.
premium.
Well, also because people are trying to get complete sets now.
Ah,
So
yeah.
then the bottleneck is going to be the lowest supply.
Yeah, that makes sense. It reminds me of a construction token, right? With our
Yeah,
blocks.
I
You
did asphalt. Oh, go ahead on construction token.
Oh no, I was just gonna say like that's that I think that's the bottleneck for people that want to get
Yeah.
the curated all the entire set, right? So they pay
Mhm.
wild premiums for that because there's only what like 200 or 100 or something.
Yeah.
So anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, I did asphalt and stardust. Those are my favorite aesthetically, so I just chose that way.
Oh, yeah, dude, I love both of those. And well, clearly Stardust was the
Stardust is your
favorite.
vibe. Yeah, it
It's
was.
my vibe too. Yeah.
It is your
Stardust
vibe.
was the favorite because it's the cheapest because there's the most supply, right? So,
Yeah.
interesting that that's kind of how it works. It makes sense. Oh
Yeah.
man, these are awesome.
But
Okay.
it's fun. It's fun to see people play around with open edition stuff. I think that's the way. Like you should do some mechanics, do some fun stuff around it, as opposed to just dropping the same thing.
Yeah, yeah, totally agree. Do you know much about memes by 6529, that entire collection?
I don't know. Like I haven't really been following it closely besides just always seeing it on Trend and OpenSea for the last month, and then I'll go peek around and look at it. And the Bitcoin one is the bottleneck one there too. With the
Yeah,
stuff.
I've been getting, I mean, I don't know why I didn't even think much about these because it's literally from 6529, who's
Yeah.
arguably like, everyone's favorite guy. So
Thread
this is,
guy.
yeah, thread guy, one of the best thought leaders in the entire space and a champion for, NFTs and decentralization. And like I just didn't really get it. Like it's a slightly different type of drop. Um, but somebody said something that made a lot more sense to me. Like, these cards are going to continue to drop, right? So I was a little bit, I'm looking at it thinking, okay, I think they're all ERC 1155s,
They are.
and which feels a little bit, I don't know, a little less unique. And then they're
Don't
going to
tell
keep,
Pio.
yeah, I know, dude. Pio loves that. Uh, sorry, the Nifty portal is not the same as these memes. It's just an
Yes, it is
entirely
not the
different
same.
asset class. And but like
That's right.
I think that the challenge is like, what do you do about supply, right? Because they're going to keep dropping if you're thinking about getting these. I feel like maybe I'm totally off base because I honestly don't know a ton about rare Pepes. But like it feels kind of like rare Pepes, right? They had a bunch of cards and now there's, I mean, I don't know how many thousands of different rare Pepe cards. Some of them are worth nothing, but some of them are absolute grails. And
Yeah.
maybe that's what's going to happen here. The other thing that somebody mentioned to me that I think, shout out to my friend Mark Thomas. He's the one that told me this. It's like I'm viewing this as a collection by 6529, right? But you should really think of this as like each one of these is by you can almost think of these separately, because some of these are by, they're all by different actual artists, right? So like this one, isn't this what's her, Alien Queen or something,
Yeah.
I think was her name. So it's
Yep.
like, this is a piece by Alien Queen. So you could
Yeah.
just take that on its own and say, hey, here's a piece by Alien Queen, and here's how many there are of this
How many are
specific
there of
one.
that one?
It looks like there's 769. So it's an addition of 769. And so I like the idea of separating them out though, right?
Yeah, but as the collection grows, that's going to be harder and harder to sort through unless they really do a good job on maintaining and updating their metadata and getting really granular with their metadata. And I found that can be a good thing, like in other side, if you really know your stuff, because it's hard. They don't have it all, like codas are mixed in with everything else. And like, if you really know your stuff, you can make some really good trades that way, but you also have to assume someone else on the other end, the buying side, knows their stuff as well.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, it's
hard.
kind of like burying. We talked about this with Grails, right? With Grails 2 and Grails 1. I actually put a tweet out, and Eli responded to me. And so I think I'm going to get him on the show. It'd be fun to chat with him.
Oh, yeah, you got to get Eli on the show.
Yeah,
I love Eli.
and it, like, he was very open and super cool about it, because I basically said, I think that Grails 2, like, I think by putting all these things in the Grails collection instead of letting the artists have them in their own collection, I think it does it a slight disservice. And I think it makes it harder to find as well. Like, if you're looking for my favorite artist, Emily Shia, and you want to find her piece, like, you have to come to the Grails first. And how would the normal person really know to do that? If you wanted to find her specific piece here, there it is right there, away from keyboard. I love this one. I love all of her work, but like,
it's a great piece.
Yeah. So I think, spreading them out and finding ways to make it accessible and easy to explore and find, I think that's an interesting thing that people need to consider for sure.
Agree. But yeah, so it's interesting. I don't know too much about it. It's very similar, I feel like, to what Tungsten DAO did with like their one of ones from other artists, but then he additioned it, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of similar to that, the memes. It's cool. From his perspective, I think it's really rad. I think it's fun. I've kind of had some similar ideas to this back in the day. I think it's cool. But the other problem I have, there's just so much out there that when things get a little too complicated, sometimes I just tend to stay away, because I've lost a lot of money when I played in that space. One of the things, I stayed away last year from what's it called? Oh, Meta Heroes Pixel Vault. Because I was just like, dude, this is crazy. I need like a PhD to understand all this, or I need to it's like a game, right? And I get it from their side, but anyway, staying away actually ended up being a really good play for me.
Thanks for the reminder. Yes, sir.
Yeah,
what's great is, like, Punk's comic was an incredible, like, I think I still ended up totally winning, because Punk's comic started it all, and you basically just kept getting stuff ongoing. But like, at one point I could have just sold everything for $100K plus, and then I ended up selling it all for basically what I got in for everything. So it was, it's a little too complicated. What's interesting is this is already, my kind of rare Pepe thesis is already starting to play out. Like, this card here has a 15 ETH floor, which is insane. 300 items,
and as the collection grows, that probably will continue to go up.
Yeah, it really might. I mean, this thing, it's cool. I like this meme. I was like,
it's a great one.
I was like, I should look at getting this one. I thought it was going to be like 0.3 or something. Clearly not right.
That one's high too.
People like the freedom to transact one. I like it as well. I think that's a really good meme kind of collectible.
Well, it's going to hold up, right? Forever.
Yeah. Congrats to people that nailed these for sure. Okay, I wanted to chat about something. We didn't chat about this before, but did you see this? Someone hit me up in the Nifty Discord about this drop here.
I just saw it today, but I didn't get to look into it too much because I was busy really digging into the Dimitri drop.
Yeah.
So tell me about it.
Well, all I know, I mean, this is one of the hard things. And if anybody in the chat knows, like, please give us some more insight here. But this, I mean, it's already number 3 on OpenSea trending. It just says abstraction by and on. And so it's some anonymous artist that says, like, my name is not important, but the art is. And he's like, but I am on Twitter. I'm not going to share it, but I am in plain sight or whatever. And this acts as a gateway to the rest of my art. So like, I actually like these pieces. I think they look good. I
They're
don't know if
pretty
I'm
cheap,
like,
so it's probably worth picking up one just for the sake of
I
it,
don't
because
know.
you never know who it is, you know?
Dude, it's crazy. Like, this is the problem. It could literally be just like, I don't know, some rug pull. I have
The
no
next,
idea.
it's Sartoshi coming back from
The
the dead.
yeah. I mean, looking at these, it looks like good art. Like, I like it. It's different. And I think it's solid. It's not. I don't know. Like, these are. I don't think this is some kind of generative thing though, because like you've got. There's not like a super cohesive theme here.
Mhm.
I mean, they have similar colors. There's a lot of like. Maybe it is right, and maybe the outputs are just really can end up being quite a bit more unique. But like these were
Where did
going
these
for
mint? Yeah, go ahead.
I actually don't know. Someone in the Nifty Discord just said like, hey, they picked them up this morning at like 0.06 or something,
Oh,
or last
geez.
night. So they were cheap. And I think it was literally 12 hours ago or something that they launched.
But it's like, if
So
no one knew who the guy was, the person is, where did they drop? Where did you know to mint them?
yeah, dude, that's my problem. I can't keep up with the kids these days. You know what I mean?
I
Like,
know, I know. It's
I
so
never
true.
could. I couldn't do it last year either. I'm 36 years old. Like, I'm like not hopped up on Ritalin and amphetamines like SBF.
Oh
Like,
my
it's just
gosh.
I can't fit. And I also have like a life, right? Like, I have a
Yeah.
family, and I eat dinner with them, and I like
I
things
eat
like
it.
that.
I
Like,
actually spend time with my family.
I chat with them. I do other things. So like, yeah, I'm just not, I get my like 8-9 hours of sleep every night. So I'm not, I don't know if I'm really gonna make it when it comes to the quick flip stuff. But yeah, this one's interesting. I just wasn't sure if you'd seen it at all, but it popped
No,
up
I had
today.
seen it, but I didn't really dive into it because I was so enamored with the Dimitri drop. I just kind of missed it.
Well, we'll have to come back and see where
Yeah.
this kind of what it turns out to be.
Yeah.
Real quick, I wanted to go over some of the like we made a few calls last time you were on the show
Did
on Node Mode. Let's talk about those. We had you called out Max Payne. What was the
point
price back
four,
then? Point
point
four.
four,
What's it now?
like point eight,
Dude.
0.89.
Okay. See, look, the
Double
Chris
double
Bennett
your money.
Alpha doubled your money right there. And I, of course, didn't take your advice. I already had one and just kind of sat on it and was happy.
I
Uh,
need more. I want more. Um,
somebody had a really great response to my open edition kind of critiques with Max Payne. He was like so bullish on Max Payne, it like made me want to go buy some more. I should try and look that up.
you
Maybe
had
I'll retweet it.
issues with the open edition of Max Payne because that's way
Well,
different from a normal open edition.
well, I don't know. I don't think it's any different,
But
personally,
it is,
because
because it came on the heels of Afterburn being an open edition and then being burned right. That's how I got my damager, was I burned
mm,
Afterburns, and I also got a red guzzler from burning my Afterburns. And then and those are expensive now, for burning an open edition. It came on the anniversary. A lot of people think he's going to do something with Max Payne right away. um I feel like it's gonna just probably be on the anniversary again next spring.
mm. Yeah,
But
well, I mean, I guess so. This is, I mean, I don't necessarily have issue with it, other than like it is just an open edition, and you don't know if he's
yeah,
going to burn. Like, you
yeah,
really don't. A lot of people are hoping and expecting that he will,
hmm,
which would be awesome.
yeah.
But the mint price was high. It was a 1 ETH, I think,
Oh
for
yeah,
those.
and
So
ETH
that's
was
like,
like what, 22.5 at the time. I
yeah,
think
dude,
I
it was not
think
cheap.
that I think that whole drop did like 27 million when you add in all the characters.
Dude, it was crazy. Yeah,
It was
and I keep
money. It
going
was
back.
insane.
I think Brinkman had some good insights there too. He basically talked about like, when looking at an open edition or anything, like try and compare it to what a one of that artist would sell for, and see the difference in market cap, and kind
Mhm.
of see like how much that makes sense, right? So, I think
As
if
in
you make
Max Payne being 7,000 ETH.
right. Right. It's like max. I think there should be a premium for liquidity, right? For an for any kind of edition versus a one of one, maybe. But like, it shouldn't be a huge premium. And I
But
think
here's
Max
my
Payne might be
argument
like
though,
a
right?
5x over a
Well,
traditional one of one.
but here's my argument. The market didn't care. So who cares, right? Like, the market decides. And
That's
the
true.
market minted out 7,700 of them in an hour. It was only open for an hour.
Oh, was it really? That's why
Yeah,
I
I
didn't get
did it.
it.
I minted one because I was only there to do the burns for the lower edition characters.
Hmm.
Because I really love the art of Damager and Gourmet Spicy. I didn't get a Gourmet Spicy at the time. That wasn't a burn you had to auction, but I ended up buying one over the weekend, actually. It's one of my favorite characters of all of the from the Max Payne and Friends drop. That's another thing. Speaking of like not cleaning up metadata, you can't sort through this drop at all for the characters. You have to search. Like there isn't like a Gourmet Spicy drop down to pull them all up or a Damager. You have to just do it through keyword search. And so there's some opportunities if you know a collection. Like I picked up my Gourmet Spicy for 12 WETH. I picked it up for 12 WETH. It's an edition of 24. And I picked it up for 12 WETH. I put in a 12 WETH offer on every single one, all 24 last weekend. And I woke up like Monday morning with an accepted, and I was stoked. Look at that. I mean, come on.
These are awesome.
It's so sick.
Only
and most
24.
People don't know. Well, and only 24, and they're all actually unique. Like, yeah, they all look very similar, but if you go back to the page and search Gourmet.
Do I just
go back to the landing? Yeah, go to like the actual, and search Gourmet right there.
Gourmet, let's go.
Yep. And then it will bring up the 24. And look, if you look at the third one to the right, look at his eyes. He's different. It's vertical, sideways.
Oh,
eyes.
Yeah, those are totally different.
But then they also have like some have more bubbles than others. Some
got
like
the recycling sign on the bottom left.
The recycling sign. Some have waves in the mouth. So they're actually kind of like Grifter-esque, all actually unique, even though they are very similar. Like you can tell it's the same character, but they actually all are unique. So I felt pretty good about picking one of 24 up for 12 WETH when they're actually all pretty unique.
That's actually, I mean, yeah, realistically, that's like a, even the 16.9, it feels like a fair price. Like
cheaper than Grifter.
Yeah, okay. So Remy, how did Gourmet Spicy? How did these come into existence?
So Gourmet Spicy and Damager Lux, if you change the search to LUXE. So that's the Damager Lux. So I have the Damager, which is red. You can pull that up separate too.
But I love these.
I know the Damager Lux is dope, but I already had the Damager. Gourmet Spicy is actually my favorite character out of the whole one. So Damager Lux and Gourmet Spicy were auctions. And how it worked on Nifty Gateway was it was like the top. I think he already had the edition size set, and you just bid to get into it. Like I bid for a while, but they went high. Like both of these were definitely over 40 or 50K at the time because again, ETH was high too, higher. Anyways, so it was like already set the edition size, and then you were just auctioning to be one of the 24 or one of how many luxes are there for if you click on one it will tell you, but so that's how those work. So when the Nifty Gateway drop happened, he had these auctions going for Damager Lux and Gourmet Spicy, but then for the Red Guzzler and the Damager and the Reachback. So Reachback, most people don't know this, is his actual Tez. It's his Tez drop, Reachback, but he did a different color variation for the Nifty Gateway on ETH. There's the Damager. So that's the one I burned So I burned 2 afterburns for the Damager, and I burned 2 afterburns for a Red Guzzler. That also set edition size. So I waited till the last second to kind of burn and try to pick lower edition, but also ones that I love. So that was Reachback, Damager, and Red Guzzler were burning afterburns for those. Or you could burn one. So that was 2, 4. You could burn one afterburn to get a green afterburn because original afterburn's red. You could burn one to get a green. Or you could auction for the Damager Lux and the Gourmet Spicy. And then at the very end, after that was all done and it had already done like several hundred ETH, he did the open edition for the last hour and it just went mental. I don't hear you, but that could be me. Something could be up with me.
Nope, I was just muted on accident. We're good. My apologies there. So yeah, I mean, this is awesome. I feel like we're just never gonna make it through an episode without talking about Xcopy. And why not? Like, why not? I don't feel bad about it at all. Somebody asked about Decal by Xcopy. Do you have any thoughts on Decal?
Yeah, it's cool. Deca art. If I was in Basel right now, that's all I'd be doing is searching around for the decal drops that they're spreading around Basel. But I think Friday. Oh, they're already on secondary.
I don't know. I don't even know what this is, to be honest. Can you give
Okay,
us some
so
background?
I don't know the mechanics on owning. I'm pretty sure
60th.
it. I'm pretty sure on if you own one of the squares from the right click save, split up that Deca did, you'll be able to do something if you're not at Basel starting Friday. They were saying if you're not at Basel and you're a holder, you'll be able to participate in this starting Friday. But if you're at Basel, I think there's like stuff hidden around, and you can like scan or do something to find these.
That would be so awesome, dude.
Yeah.
I love it. I love how, Xcopy, I think he's just the perfect blend of like an art, but making it interesting and utilizing NFT tech, right? To innovate and make it more interesting and yet still keeping it art focused as well. Like it's not just about the game at all, but he offers a few more gamified components that you just can't really do that well with physical regular art. So that's
it's
awesome.
super fun. He's always relevant. He's always in people. People are always talking about him, and he's just I love Xcopy so much.
Yeah. Okay. We got a donation in the chat here, and I don't know. I gotta say sorry to Mike here. Could you gentlemen quickly give your thoughts on meta goblins? Which I mean seems to me like this is either a promotion. So shout out, you got me there, or I mean I literally know nothing about it. So I'm
That's
sorry,
awesome.
man. $10 and maybe that was it. Do you know anything about meta goblins, Chris?
I don't.
Okay. Well, that's that. There you go, Mike. Those are our thoughts.
Sorry. Thanks for the 10.
Yeah. Thanks.
Lunch
for the
on
10.
you.
It's going to the Nifty portal. Half of it goes to YouTube. So shout out to them. They just made $5. YouTube made $5. All right. So okay, what do we got next on the docket? There's so many different artists we could talk about. Do we want to talk about Soul? Do we want to talk about Tezos? Do we want to talk about
real quick,
whatever.
Real quick, Love Grant. Real quick, we gotta talk really quick about IO Stream. Tyler Hobbs dropped at Basel.
That's right.
So because this is just cool, this is unique, it's different, it's new, something that's happening right now.
Let me see if I can find it.
So man, these shows we could go. I mean, you and I, how for people who don't know, when Ty and I do, or when Node and I do calls, I mean, they can go for hours. We just
may as well. Yeah, it's like we have no qualms just chatting about.
We'll just open edition the show and just go until we stop streaming.
That's right. That's right. Pio's not here to tell me that we need to cut it off, so we can just keep flowing as long as we need. But these are some of them, right? Like these are some of the things that he did. Tell me about this one.
Gorgeous. So go pull up the whole collection.
Yeah, I gotta find it on.
It's in our chat.
In our text chat. Yeah, let me find. Yeah, I'll see if I can find it.
Or it's probably in his link tree.
Oh yeah, it probably is. Let's see if we can find it through here.
Let's
see. It's so funny though. Some artists, yeah, there it is. Nice job, Tyler. A lot of artists, dude, like their link trees are garbage. So
I know.
Public service announcement: if you're an artist in the space, you need to make your link tree very obvious and make your most recent drop right at the top. Do exactly what Tyler Hobbs did, because when people are recently trying to figure out what to search for, this is where we go. We click on your Twitter bio, and then that's how we find stuff. So make sure your collections are all split out here really nicely. Okay, so IO Stream. Okay, here they are. Boom.
So there's how many? 12? Go down to the bottom one because they're numbered.
Oh yeah, nice. Boom. Yeah, that's 12.
12.
Oh yeah, and then there's this one. It's 13. Like return one blue, right? This is a separate.
Yeah,
thing.
I don't. That's separate though. That he just dropped at Basel too. So go up. So these are, there's 10 of each, which is pretty sweet. So I mean, the edition, a low edition from Hobbs.
Edition of 10. These are physicals, right?
Here's what's cool. They're silkscreen physicals. They come with a certificate of authenticity scan that will give you a digital that you'll be able to display, is what I heard, and like be able to use, in galleries or things like that. But I don't think it's like they're not going to have a second. They're not going to be on chain. you're not going to be able to sell it as an NFT. It's really tied to the physical, from what I understand. And I bought one yesterday, and so I was talking to the gallery, and it just basically sounds like I'll have a digital version that I can use, but not like that will be on the blockchain necessarily.
Interesting. So what happens if you want to sell it? You just have to sell the physical like a regular old Joe.
But it will prove authenticity on the back, on the scanning of it and things like that. I love the drop. I bought number 8. It wasn't my first choice. It was one of them, but I do love it.
I think it looks great.
Yeah, it's a cool one.
You willing to tell us how much it cost?
They're 8K USD.
Okay.
They're taking USDC. A lot of them you couldn't buy individually. You can only get, like, my first choice was, I believe, number 12. It was either 6 or 12. Yeah, no, 12.
12 looks good.
Yeah, I really like 12. That one you could only buy if you bought the complete set. So a complete set's like 100K. So you get a little discount if you buy the whole set.
Oh yeah.
Which would look so killer on a wall. Can you imagine a wall with all those?
Yeah, this would look good.
I actually, like, one of the reasons why I bought it was, one, I love Tyler. I don't have a Fidenza. The only NFT I own of his is the wall from the Grails one drop. I minted it. And I just love the story behind it on the art, the coding side. But you're not going to really put the wall up in your house, right? This just made sense to me. Like, I would love to have a Hobbs on my wall, and it's really cool that it's actually like the physical print is the piece on the wall instead of like printing your Fidenza. And I have a room that's going to go in it'll work perfectly. So I was really stoked on that. I will say one thing. So our good friend of the show, K Dean, was there on the floor at Basel. He bought 2 yesterday. And he was saying, and this is kind of going back to our theme as terms of like calls and just kind of trends and stuff. He was saying the trad collectors were all googly-eyed over this drop at Basel. And he said most of the people buying it were trad collectors. And so I'm curious if that's just because I'm curious, I'm kind of curious where the information is in that comment. Is that he said he was there for a while, like several hours, and it was trad collectors gobbling it up and just totally googly-eyed. I think down close to it was some Warhols for sale. And people were buying those and then buying Hobbs, and like the same people buying the Warhols were buying Hobbs. But nice. I'm curious to get your thoughts on, do you think that's just because it was like physical first? I mean, obviously Hobbs is an incredible artist and they love the art, but do you think why the trads were so excited is because it like is in their wheelhouse still?
Yeah, I do. I think that, when you think about it, it's probably a great narrative to play as an artist. Because what you do is and especially wherever this Virtu Fine Art, if this is a gallery, I'm guessing, right? Like you have all these big time art collectors that come to Art Basel, and then they want to, maybe they don't really like or get NFTs that much, and they're not huge digital art fans, but they're going to feel a little bit of that FOMO of wanting to participate in what's happening. And then you get a gallery that says, hey, basically the top generative artist in NFTs, like the hottest name, has some physicals that he's created here, and you can just buy them. Here they are. You can just buy them, and it's like, okay, whether they like the art or not, they're like, oh, well, this seems to me like a great easy bet on this artist that is apparently hot in this world that I don't understand, but I like this art enough, I'll buy it and hang it on my wall. And I feel like that's a really great narrative they can play. It's
like a Bitcoin ETF instead of buying Bitcoin, right? For a fund, for like a regulated fund. And I think it's really smart of Tyler. If there's one thing people haven't gathered already from Tyler, and Dimitri's in this camp with what we were talking about earlier, they are brilliant people and really very methodical. I think it's very brilliant of Tyler because, like what you said, what's going to happen? You're going to bring that home. People are going to be like, wow, who is that? Oh, actually, he's an NFT artist, but this is physical, blah, blah, blah. And then you're going to get a Fidenza. You're going to end up going back and getting a Fidenza. If you're a big collector and you have bags, you're going to fall in love with that physical. and then eventually your first NFT. Like I would imagine most people who bought that, who haven't bought NFTs yet, their first NFT is going to be a Fidenza. When you
That's
get,
smart.
So
yeah.
I think that's a really smart thing. I think it's cool. I think we'll probably see more of this. I actually really kind of like that the NFT won't be separate from it, or the digital version kind of stand alone, and it's really low edition. I don't know. I just, if you're gonna, for me, not having a Fidenza yet, and wanting to have a Hobbs on one of my walls in my house, this was a no-brainer for me.
Yeah. That's awesome. Congrats on that purchase. I love it. These look great on the wall. Look at that.
Yeah.
I would
yeah.
prefer...
Payne says as a whole set, it was gorgeous. Like he was like texting me back and forth. Should I buy a whole set? Like they're insane. They're so gorgeous.
Well, I mean, why not? You know, but just like do it for the fun. Get the, get Cosmos all his one of each and call it good. I mean, I would far prefer having Dimitri's light years on there, honestly, to these, but they're also way more expensive. So these are cool. Yeah. I like them together as a set as well. So awesome. Yeah, okay. There's Tyler Hobbs. Okay. Do we have some time for Tezos? Should we?
Always. We can go over.
Okay.
Pio's not here.
Yeah. Pio's not here. We do what we want. Okay.
He's in the bathtub. He's in the bathtub right now.
He's doing tub talk. So, who cares? We do have a question before we transition over to Tezos. There's someone's asking, what we think about AI creating NFTs. What are your thoughts on AI art and NFTs in general, Chris?
I think what will happen is, this is just my opinion, I think it's cool. I think the AI technology is incredible. I think it's super fun to play with. I think what will end up happening is the ones that are, this is separate, and I think they're referring to like DALL-E as opposed to like Pindar. Van Armour, right?
Yeah.
It was what you're taking. Okay. So let's separate the AI artists like Pindar, and we'll talk about, I think they're talking about like DALL-E and things like that. I think it's super cool. I think it's really rad for, like, my background is like content marketing and digital marketing. I love it for that, to be able to create like unique pieces that you could put in content and like the Web 2 world, instead of like having to find CCO crappy stuff off of Getty Images, blah, 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 that kind of thing. Yeah. Because the outputs are insane. As far as like a value perspective, collector's perspective, I think the ones that will rise to the top are people that are very good at twisting the knobs. Yeah. Those will be the ones that, kind of rise to the top, almost like QQL, right? Like once years have passed and QQL gets its due, which it will, it'll be the ones that were really good at twisting the knobs. I mean, all of us thought we were amazing artists at QQL before the mint dropped. And then after actual stuff started getting minted, you're like, oh man, my stuff was crap. I think it'll be the same. I think it'll be similar.
Yeah, I agree. I think with AI stuff, it's going to turn into like a commodity thing where you need to make a game. It's going to be huge in a game, right? Getting some cool graphics. But like, if you can turn into an AI artist, awesome. More power to you. I think there'll be some opportunity there. Maybe that's what I should do, since I have no other artistic skills.
I've actually always thought, like a poet could be a really good AI artist. Someone who's really good with words, right? Because that's the input on a lot of these. So maybe a poet could be actually really cool.
That's interesting. Really, it would only be, I mean, the AI would have to be good enough to capture that, right? Yes, but, that's what AI is supposed to do.
Already incredible.
Okay. Tezos, I want to talk about this one. This one's been blowing up in my feed, all over Twitter, all in my DM.
What's it at right now? The floor.
Let's see. Let's go to low to high. Dude, almost 2,000 Tez.
Oh,
that's like
freak! I have 4 of those. I meant to.
You really? Oh my gosh!
Oh shoot! I forgot.
Dude, winning, dude.
It's been so crazy. I have the black, a lot of the black with the red in them. I love those. You'll love those too. That's like totally your vibe too.
Dude, yeah. And I bet they're
dude, 2,000?
Yeah, they've been running hard. Dude. People love these. I think they're cool. It's like MC Escher's stuff,
They're super cool. I love them.
I didn't think they'd run this hard, but congrats. I think this is it Rich Pool? I think it's like a collab between Rich Pool, Paper Crane. I really like this stuff. This is great. I'm going to do it. This is for the people. I always try to be transparent, but these are the ones that I like, and I've been wanting to pick one up. I put in some offers and I haven't gotten one yet, but these are miniscapes. And I haven't checked. Maybe I did get.
What are these at right now?
They're not too bad. I think they're around.
Those are
Let's
cool.
see here.
I haven't seen these.
I absolutely love them. This is the same artist. Rich Pool, Paper
I know.
Crane.
I love Rich Pool.
And this, yeah, it looks like 230. I put in an offer on this one, and then I put in an offer on another one. I wonder if I got it because it's not showing up. I'll have to check. But like, yeah, like I really like these. They're super simple and just like they're beautiful. I like the color palette, and some of them are animated. It's all generative somehow. This is fantastic. So these are ones that I've been.
I think I'll go sell one of my from the other collection and then go buy a couple of these.
Yeah, you can.
I've been really busy, so I've been missing some of the new stuff. If you like babysit FX hash, you can do really well on drops.
Yeah.
You can do really well. I've noticed very similar. It happens really fast there, but it will kind of run up and then you'll find a stalling moment. So I bought it was like 4 hours after. How do you pronounce that other one? Aquia.
A Sequoia or something?
Yeah, Sequoia. Yeah. I bought a couple on secondary for like 180 Tez because you could see it like stalled after a couple hours. And I've noticed that a lot on initial mints with FX hash. And then, yeah, it might maybe never run. But I mean, it's basically like a stable coin right now, Tez. It's so cheap. Yeah,
and, it is. Yeah, it's literally right around $1, dude.
I know.
Like, it's like hovers right there.
Yeah, and I probably have like 2,000 pieces on Tez, and I've never sold any.
Yeah.
Because
that's how it is.
I love it over there. The vibe over there of just collecting art for art. But this is a cool one.
I love it.
It's cool.
I love it. This, just for context, people are asking. So this is fxhash.xyz. And then the other one that I was just pulling up was object.com. Somebody threw this in a DM group I'm in and we're like, hey, this just minted this morning. And I was like, dude, this looks awesome. And I went to go snag one. And they were minted at 5 Tez, and now it's 69. So it's like there's action over here, Like, and I even put out a tweet the other day that shows Tezos volume is at an all-time high.
Yeah,
so
it's crazy.
It's like it's pretty wild. I don't know what to. I mean, remind me. I know we've chatted about this before, but like, I love a lot of the art that I'm seeing on Tezos. I'm not a huge fan of the blockchain. I don't know many people that are. So like, what's our long-term thesis? Do artists, like, if this chain dies, do artists just say, hey, like, we'll do a fake wrapper and then or we'll just remake this on ETH for our wallets? Like, what happens if and when Tez goes away? What are your thoughts there?
I was talking to some big Tez artists about this last week or a couple weeks ago, because I've had this thought too. This is why I haven't bought Zancan's Genesis on Tez. It's like 26, 27 grand. Because it scares me spending that much money, right? Like going in, doing FX hash, minting for, like I bought most of those ones, the Aqueous or however you pronounce
Sequoia,
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sequoia for like 150 Tez. Like that's awesome, right?
Yeah.
But
like a 12x.
Going in and buying so the last expensive ones I bought was I completed Louis Ponce's entire coffee set. I have all 20.
Yeah, you love that artist.
And so I was spending like 1,000 Tez on a bunch of them. And this is when Tez was a couple bucks. It was like in May. And after that, I was kind of really worried about the same thing. Anyways, I was talking to some big Tez artists and they weren't that worried about it. They think Tez will survive. They think there's enough volume and enough art and stuff going on that they think it will just kind of maybe always stay that way. I don't know.
I hope so. The only problem that I've got is that anytime you see a blockchain like advertising all over the place, it's usually like a little bit of a flag for me. It's like Tezos is on the Red Bull Formula One car, which is like, I mean, the best car you can be on, which is impressive. But I'm like, what are they accomplishing? Like nobody that sees Tezos in F1, unless you're in the market we're in, nobody has any effing idea that that the only thing you do on Tezos is buy art. Like
imagine them getting a Temple wallet.
Yeah,
and, like,
yeah. Yeah, and the Temple
No.
wallet is like, I mean, it feels a
Oh,
little janky, dude. It's just like,
dark ages.
yeah, it does feel like it was made in the 90s. I mean, apologies to the people that made Temple Wallet, but like it is what it
That's
is.
kind of the vibe of Tez anyways, though,
Yeah,
right? Like,
it is. I hope it sticks around. The only challenge is like, why is I forget what it's worth. It's like maybe it's $1 billion market cap or something. You're
is that
like,
a bill?
I don't know what it's
I
at.
know.
I should
I
look it
know.
up. But like, dude, why? I would feel a lot better if the market cap of Tez. I'm just gonna look it up right now. Let's see here.
Well, post POS, right?
Yeah, and post POS,
That's
it's
what's
like,
hard.
what's their leg they have to stand on? It's 918 million. And so I'm like looking at, I'd feel way better actually if the market cap was 100 million and
Mm,
they didn't do any advertising. Like
mm,
this makes it seem
good
like they're
point.
trying to be this big startup and they're gonna have a hard time figuring out, I don't know, how to generate real revenue. I don't know. As a blockchain, I
Yeah.
could be mistaken, but
Yeah,
we'll
because
see.
fees are low and stuff, so it's not like they're making a ton on
Yeah, if
on
there
that
is
side.
someone asked, there is gas on Tez, right? Like
Yeah, there's
we
gas.
pay, but it's small. It's like
Yeah, very
negligible. It
low,
feels just like Sol. So,
but very slow. Soul,
yeah,
but slow.
Sol, but yeah, but slower.
But the art is incredible. The vibe's incredible. The artists over there are awesome. I mean, some of my favorite.
Unmatched vibe in
Yeah,
collecting.
I would say besides FX Hash and really playing there, the alpha on Tez is finding artists there who are emerging from there and getting in their Discord or really, setting your alerts because they do a lot of stuff. When they do these edition drops and stuff, they'll do like raffles or randoms and like I almost win Deslucre's pieces every time he drops it on Tez because I'm in his Discord and I own so many, and so I'm getting stuff, minting stuff for like 40 Tez, and then they go on secondary for like 300-400 right away. That's a good play, is like actually just like engaging with the artists and following them, or they do an ETH drop and you already know about them ahead of time, and you get in on that.
Okay, have you heard of this tender art?
Yes, Nooch loves this. Nooch.
My guy Nucci. Shout out to Nucci. We love that.
What's
guy.
it at now? I was gonna buy it 600 Tez, and then I bought. The reason I didn't is because I was buying those.
The Sequest. Okay, that worked out just fine.
Yeah.
Well, you can sell one and get one to get two of these.
I think that's what I'll do.
Hey, so tell us about this. People have hit me up about this, and I don't know a ton.
I don't know a ton either, except for it's going to work like a pass for generative drops. Like I think it's similar to like, Gen Art or GM DAO or things like that. But from what I understand, they're going to be drops on FX Hash. But
cool.
Yeah, I'm not.
I love that.
I could be wrong on that. I need to. Nooch and I have been missing each other's calls, and I need to talk to him about that. He likes it, but what he told me basically when we were playing phone tag was he wants more exposure to generative art. And he saw this as a good way. I think he had them on his show and then went and bought 2 passes after that.
Oh, right
really
on.
Liked it. Yeah.
Yeah, my guy D Moon has told me about this a few times. He's in the Discord. He really likes the vibe there and what they're all about. So excited to see where that goes. Looking around at these other ones, I mean, I really like this Slumbers drop that just dropped a little while ago.
Yeah, that one's cool.
This started popping up on my feed, and I think it's doing pretty well. Let's see where the floor is.
What's the floor?
Yeah, 350.
Yeah,
not bad. I mean,
the thing you probably minted that for next to nothing.
Yeah, I think the thing with Tezos is like there's in terms of ROI, you can still totally crush it. If you get in at the right time. I mean, maybe your upside's limited from a dollar value standpoint, and you really need to figure out like this market is different if you're trying to trade it. But like a lot of people on Tez, that's the beauty, is they actually collect it because they love the art, which is so refreshing.
There are some G's on Tez too, like guys that are like volume trading and doing really well.
Really?
Yeah. You'll see their names pop up a lot when this stuff mints early on and then flipping and stuff, but they do really well. I would say on FX Hash, anybody who's new, from my experience, the stuff that really works well is the stuff that's really unique. You'll see a lot of like Fidenza copycats and things like that, and I would say steer away from those.
That's good insight.
Yeah. The stuff that's really different, really unique. Maybe before the drop, go check out their Twitter, look on their object. Most of them have stuff on object beforehand, and really kind of look at floor prices there, look at their Twitter, things like that. The collabs have worked well too, because obviously you're doubling your audience, right? Like you have 2 different people now that are exposing and stuff like that. I really like Max too.
Max, is that the name of an artist?
No, yeah. Hold on, let me find his drop.
Yeah, let me see if you can find it. Shoot it to me in the chat or something. We can check it out. But yeah, I mean, this is Zancan's. I think this is one of his top collections, right? The Monolith Gardens. That the floor is 22,500.
That's his Genesis.
Okay, so that is the Genesis you were talking about. So yeah, 22 grand, you know, for his Genesis stuff. I mean, not unreasonable.
Dude, 25 for sale.
Okay, yeah, that's not very many. There's only 250 total. So that's 1% of supply, you know, like or 10%, I guess I should say. Let's see. Yeah, add a 0. 10%. That's actually a normal amount of supply to be
that's
for
true.
Sale. But like, I mean, realistically, there's only like maybe let's see, like 10 to 20 that are in the ballpark of the floor price. So the rest of these are totally, you know, this guy wants 600,000 for it. So good luck.
Maxwell linked. I like his art. I haven't even looked. I bought a bunch. I haven't even looked at price. I mean, Tez I really buy just because I love it, and I wait a really long time, and then if it works out, it works out. He's got a cool vibe. He has some cool stuff on Object. I picked him up on Object earlier.
Oh, cool.
I think he just got on SuperRare. I think he's on SuperRare now.
Okay, cool. Yeah, let's check these out. So there's 256. We go low to high. Oh, these are still reasonably priced too. So that's good. They're, you know,
they're cool.
If you're looking for a cheap entry, these are pretty cool.
Yeah, they're different.
Yeah, how'd you discover this artist?
Through Object, just his doing drops on Object and like seeing other, I think just being in like Tezos Discords, you know, other artists, Tezos Discords.
Yeah. Oh, very cool. Any other artists you want to give a shout out on Tezos?
Oh, for sure. So without we've already talked about Lewis. We already talked about Desolate Craze, some of my favorite on Tez. Real quick, for sure, Kiz Kolaski. Kolaski. I think that's how you pronounce it. So hard, I have to read it every time.
How am I gonna? Is it Kiz?
Yeah, Kisz. Kisz.
Let's see.
But he's not on. He's not gonna pull up on FX Hash. He's not.
Oh, sorry. He's not. You said Object.
Yeah, go to Object.
Okay, let's go to Object here.
I love his stuff. So unique, so different, so playful. Fun fact, I actually own his Genesis. And the funny thing is he was like a Tez Maxi for a long time, but I did some digging earlier this year. His Genesis is on ETH. I found it on ETH.
Oh, very cool.
And I got it on ETH, and it's a 1 of 1. So I'm diamond hand in that. But like pull up any of the fairy ones, like do the new friend. Or like any of those. I mean, really any of them.
Death Fairy Tales, will that work?
Sure. Yeah, pull it up. Okay. They're amazing. They're so rad and so different.
So these are animated little things.
They're little stories. They all tell these little stories. Look in the background, the like the bone dog flipping the body. Like there's so much going on. And I really like their work a lot. It's really fun and really playful. He just opened up an artist Discord. And those are really good vibes. Like artist Discords for Tezos artists are really fun, really good vibes. And you get exposed to a lot of other art because all the artists are in. That's one thing that's really cool about Tez is all the artists collect each other's stuff too.
And they're all really good about sharing each other's work as well.
Totally.
So following artists on Tez is a great way to find other artists on Tez.
Yeah, look at what they've collected.
Yeah, in general, right? Like the whole vibe on Tez is editions, right? Like that's a very common thing.
Very common.
Which again, I always struggle with edition sizes. It comes up all the time, and like me trying to figure out how to value things. But like, hey, there's an entire market here. I think it's really cool. This is unique stuff, dude. That's cool. Oh yeah, sorry. Let's look at the new friend too. You mentioned that one.
That one's great. This one's great.
This is interesting. So the fairy comes out and just always.
It's always just dust. Yeah, killing people. There's another good one where like they're like running from them and jumping off a cliff, and then the fairy gets them in the air, and stuff. But,
so it's the fairy's new friend right there. Boom. Yeah. You know, she makes new friends by turning them into skeletons. That's fun. This is cool stuff. I like that work.
Yeah. He's a great artist. Really, really fun, really cool vibe. He collects a lot of other Tez artists too.
His Kowalski. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Let's
And he
do
just opened
one
up a
last.
Discord.
Let's do one last artist that you really like from Tezos, and then I want to chat about SuperRare Pass to wrap things up.
Okay. There's a lot. I love. There's so many. I love Kristen Roos.
Kristen, are you what?
Hold on. I can't. I need to blow up your screen.
Oh yeah, here we go. Kristen Roos.
Yeah. So click on. But go to. Yep. And go to their past work, like our early stuff. I don't know. It's just very Tezos vibes, right?
Yeah.
Like when you think Tez, and go to like the last page, like 4 or one of I love the cities. So go one more over. Go to 3. Probably should have just like down right there.
Oh yeah.
Paint box cities. So cool. Really cool.
These are cool. Look at those.
Yeah.
Those look awesome.
Just a cool vibe. Super unique. Super different. There's so many cool Tez artists. Nicholas Sassoon's work on Tez is awesome. Pixelful's work on Tez is awesome. Big collector of all those people.
Nice.
Yeah, and I would say, just for anyone wanting to get in, it's really just following those artists and seeing who they collect, and then just buying what resonates with you. And some of the stuff I'm extremely up on, and other stuff I'm not. But I don't really care. The vibe there is just so much about collecting. SuperRare Pass.
I wanted to end on it because I've been shouting from the rooftops. We both knew that this was a killer deal when they minted out at 17 ETH. I was like trying to start to scrounge up ETH when I saw this happening.
It was right when you were locking up your hardware wallet.
It was, yeah, that was the painful part. But like, hey, gotta be diligent. So but yeah, so this was, it was a decreasing price auction, right? And ended at 17. Yeah. Now it's double. I mean, who could have called it? We did. It was very straightforward. Are there any updates? Do we know like when the first drop is with this thing?
Yeah, it's tomorrow. Is today the 2nd? It's tomorrow. Pindar.
Tomorrow's the 1st, right?
Yep. Pindar.
Today's the 1st.
So tomorrow is the Pindar drop.
Oh, okay. So
for those who don't know, one of the most OG SuperRare artists, AI, one of the most OG AI artists, very familiar with like the Bitgans, which are cool. I have several of those. They're awesome. I love the Bitgans. And so that's tomorrow. So it'll be cool to see how that plays out. I don't know how the 1-of-1 giveaways are going to work. Like, I don't know. I can't remember if they have one for each month. Like if they had 12 set for the year, because there's 2 things with the pass, right? You're getting an edition of 250, but it's not a copy edition. Everyone will be unique.
Yep.
So I would assume maybe the X copy drop will work similar to like how Gourmet Spicy is, right? Where they look similar vibe. You can tell they're from the same collection, but have a uniqueness to them. Or maybe they'll go even more generative, like grifters. Yeah, which would be cool. But they're all going to be unique and not an exact edition. And then they're also doing raffles to holders for 1-of-1s every so often. I don't remember the cadence on that.
That's right.
So pretty cool. I like it. I love the pass. I think it's great. I'm curious. They were really marketing it as, hey, we want to help people who want to get exposed to crypto art but don't know where to start. So we're just telling them to buy the pass, and we'll give them the art and expose them to the good artists, kind of like a curator. But it's like, but then they minted out in ETH, and like trad people weren't minting on that Dutch auction. They're not watching Dutch auctions and minting it out. So I'm curious how they're gonna like onboard people.
I think it's a no-brainer for a trad collector if they want exposure to the space. Like it's just super if you're a big time trad collector anyway and you want exposure to the space, I think that's a no-brainer for sure.
Agree. I think it'll start a trend too of like generative editions even more as well. But it'll be really cool for the artists like Matt Payne who are going to have like true full-blown generative editions. Like that's really cool.
Yeah, that's going to be, I'll just sit here and be jealous and happy for everybody that owns one of these. They're awesome. Well, dude, we've gone about 75 minutes. That's awesome. Thank you, anybody that's stuck around. Feel free to, hit me up with any DMs, any questions you have. Follow Chris Bennett on Twitter. It's just Chris Bennett. He's one of my favorite people in the space. Trying to get him on the show about every month so we can always do these roundups and see what's going on in the art space. Really appreciate everybody coming. Chris, thanks for coming, man. We'll have to chat next month, huh?
There'll be a lot to chat about. I think post tax loss harvesting, and January is always a vibe. January is always crazy.
Oh yeah, I need to mention. So the title, I titled this like December 2022 predictions. And we haven't made any predictions.
Here's my prediction.
Leave us with your prediction. Yeah, let's go.
Sit in USDC right now and watch for tax loss harvesting for the next couple of weeks. Make some good buys. There's a lot of really good deals right now. And then wait, because I think in January things start to ramp up. I do think NFT. I do think digital art is separating from crypto, like from coins and from PFPs, and that's really good for the this is an art show. I do think that's happening, and that's going to happen more and more wallets are coming to that side. So while I think the macro is going to be an extremely nasty bear next year, I do think art will do well if you're supporting the right artists and kind of watching the right stuff.
I like that. Thank you. I would agree. I have nothing else to add to that. Thanks again, everyone. And thanks. Shout out to our sponsor, SuperRare. And we will catch you next week on Node Mode. I think next week I've got NFT statistics coming on. So
killer.
Excited to have him. He's awesome.
Yeah.
All right.
Really awesome.
Thanks, everybody. We will catch you soon.